What's up, warriors of Tamaris? Welcome to the video. In this episode, we're going to discuss the downfall of infantry in Call of Dragons. Some things have been added into the game that has resulted in infantry getting very little merits in open field combat. In this episode, we're going to discuss everything and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know about the infantry troop type. If you're new here, like, share, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Let's get started. Alright, warriors of Tamaris, things have gone bad for infantry troop type here in Call of Dragons. If you play infantry, you are going to notice this problem right away. The infantry merits is not the same with what it used to be before. And that is because one of the newest addition to Call of Dragons, it has pretty much, ruined the infantry troop type in terms of merits. And today we're going to be discussing this new addition into Call of Dragons and how it has played a big part in destroying this infantry troop type. So let us go over here and see what really makes an infantry very strong for open field combat. We're going to discuss Kuma. So Kuma is one of the most popular infantry hero in the whole game, mainly because of his rage skill, his fourth skill, and his war pet. He can really do some good stuff. What really makes infantry very strong in open field combat? Number one, I think, is the war pet. When you have a good war pet for your infantry, you're going to be doing some good stuff against your enemies. You will be dependent on the counter-strike and the advanced counter-strike. You build your pet with these two skills, taking them to very good levels, and you will be able to get lots and lots of good merits. So this is one of the important aspects of infantry. The next one is going to be the rage skill for the infantry. When you look at every single infantry in Call of Dragons, the rage skill for the infantry plays a big part in how that march is going to perform on the field. With Kuma, he's going to be draining enemy HP and making himself stronger. So if you prevent him from casting a rage skill, you have pretty much nullified his strongest output, making him one of the weakest heroes in the game. Now let's check out another hero in the game. We also have Joren, who is also dependent on his rage skill to activate his parry mechanics. So the rage skill of the hero is very important. Another important infantry hero in Call of Dragons is Goresh. When you look at Goresh's rage skill, he gets like 60% attack and a resistance of -20%, which is very good. It makes infantry very strong. But if you manipulate the infantry rage skill, you can pretty much make them very weak for open field combat. And that is something we're going to discuss today. You're going to see how the infantry troop type is not getting a lot of merits like they used to back in the days. So now, before I explain what is really going on, let us rewind the clock back to a few seasons ago, because this is going to be very important in explaining what I really want to tell you guys. So I'm going to click on one of the heroes in Call of Dragons, aka Thunderlin. So when the devs introduced Thunderlin, they brought this artifact known as the Thunder Elegy. So this artifact is going to do some disgusting stuff to your legions. Like it says here, for the next 5 seconds, deals diffuse damage every second to up to 5 enemy legions in a designated circle and inflicts silence. When someone hits you with silence, you cannot cast rage skills. And as an infantry, if someone prevents you from casting rage skill, you're pretty much going to be useless on the field. Especially when you're getting hit by more than 50 people, you cannot cast your rage skill. You're going to get killed and your infantry is going to come back with a lot of severely wounded. So this is just one thing. But the good thing with back in the days, people did not use this artifact a lot because this artifact was not performing as good as the Phoenix Eye. Most people were using the Phoenix Eye on the Thunderlin March. In order to get more merits, they pretty much benched the Thunder Elegy. So things weren't so bad for the infantry troop type. Now we're going to move the clock forward to what is happening right now. This is going to help you understand how the infantry troop type is going downhill in Call of Dragons. And I don't think there is any way of fixing this. One simple addition to Call of Dragons has pretty much ruined this troop type. Let's have a look. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is why the infantry troop type is pretty much dead in Call of Dragons. We're going to check out Verdun and this brand new artifact here in Call of Dragons, things are never ever going to be the same again in this game. And I don't know if there is any way people are going to be fixing this. Now, unlike in the past, Verdun is a very popular hero. Unlike Thunderlin, Verdun, everybody tries to get the Doom Bracers. So pretty much all 200 players in the Alliance are probably going to have the Doom Bracers for fighting in open field combat. And this artifact has pretty much destroyed the infantry troop type in Call of Dragons. Allow me to show you. We're going to check out the skills of this artifact. It says, summons a fallen star that rolls in a designated direction, repelling up to 5 enemy legions, dealing diffused magic damage. Damage factor this amount, and inflicting stun for 1 second. Now this is the craziest addition into Call of Dragons. Stun for 1 second. Do you guys know what happens when someone stuns you? You cannot launch any counter attack whatsoever. And infantry is dependent on counter attack. Now, since this artifact is very popular with Verdun, who is probably the strongest magic hero in the game as of right now in terms of getting merits, especially when you pair him with Cantaman, everybody is now working on Verdun and Cantaman, and they are getting these Doom Bracers for open field combat. So now picture this. You send 5 infantry marches on the field. Okay, no problem. And then boom, one Verdun hits you with the Doomstar, and he inflicts stun on all 5 of your legions, which means your infantry will not be able to launch any counter attack. What happens when you prevent an infantry from launching a counter attack? So I'm going to click on this pet. When your infantry don't launch any counter attack, this counter strike becomes useless because it is dependent on your counter attack. And if you cannot cast your counter strike, you cannot cast your advanced counter strike as well, making this thing very useless. Now let's go back over here. So right now in like the open field, there are maybe 80 players online playing, and maybe 70 of them have like mages. So you got 70 people playing mages and 70 people with the Doom Bracers. So picture this. You're sending your infantry to fight, and then boom, they have full rage for their artifact. And they start hitting your infantry one by one. One person hits you 1 second, you launch 0 counter attack towards 50 people hitting you, and then another person hits you again with the Doom Bracers. By the time you get to the enemy, your march is dead. Maybe you last for 10 seconds, and in 5 of those seconds, you got hit by 5 different Doom Bracers at different times, stunning you for 1 second each, which means for 5 seconds, you did not launch any counter attack. Your pet for your infantry pretty much became useless, not really doing anything to like deflect damage back to the enemy. And now we're gonna go on to the next new effect as well that is really playing a big part in the downfall of the infantry troop type. So I'm gonna bring like the 4 best, the 3 best infantry, the 3 best mage marches in Call of Dragons. So that's what I'm gonna be bringing out right now. As you can see, these are the 3 best mage marches in the game as of right now. So I'm going to add one more. Now people are going to be playing with Thunderlin and the Thunder Elegy. So where is she? Okay, so let me just put this as a mage march. We're going to put somebody behind. Let's say we put Musiang behind. So this is what the next march looks like in your mage roster. Now, allow me to explain what is really going to happen to your infantry legions on the field. Someone could hit you with this Mirage Orb. This Mirage Orb is going to knock 3 of your legions airborne, like making you not do a lot of good stuff. And then Thunderlin is going to apply this artifact on you, the Thunder Elegy. This Thunder Elegy is going to inflict silence on your legion. When your legions are silenced, they cannot cast a rage skill. And you guys know how infantry is dependent on their rage skill to do a lot of good stuff. They need the rage skill to survive for a very long time. So if you can prevent them from casting their rage skill, they can't really make themselves stronger and do a lot of damage on the field. So Thunderlin is going to be doing this disgusting stuff with you with her Thunder Elegy. And then to make things worse, Verdun is going to come in with his 1 second stun. When he stuns an infantry, that infantry is not going to be able to launch a counter attack. Pretty much making infantry very, very useless in the game. And I think this can stand up to 5 people. I maybe need to check out the war reports, but this is one of the craziest additions in the game, and it has pretty much, I think, ruined the infantry troop type in the game, because right now people are still investing in this march slowly. If you look at many alliances, they haven't really paid attention to this new addition into Call of Dragons. But as we move forward, many people are going to be getting these Doom Bracers with the 1-second stun. Just picture this. It is peak time in your alliance and you have 130 people online. Maybe 100 players are mage players with these Doom Bracers. Each one is going to be hitting the infantry at different time, preventing them from casting counter attack. This is going to be the downfall of infantry here in Call of Dragons. I have already noticed this in the open field. Like the merits that I used to get in the last 3-4 seasons is not the same with what I am getting right now. That is because of this new addition into Call of Dragons, aka the Doom Bracers. I think the devs have pretty much killed the infantry troop type with this single addition. This 1-second stun effect it is crazy, man. It is bad, especially since the majority of players in this game are like mages with the Doom Bracers. This is going to be so bad for the infantry troop type. Now, a lot of you are going to notice this. Right now, as we speak, these G5 marches are not yet so popular. Like many people have the G5 marches, but they are not so popular right now. Just give it time. Everybody is going to be investing in this march, and pretty soon everyone and their grandma is going to be having the Doom Bracers. 1-second stun. We are witnessing the downfall of infantry in Call of Dragons. You can even organize this artifact with your alliance team members, especially when you see an infantry show up just charging towards you. 5 infantry, one person casts these artifacts, and then another one casts it again 1 second later, and then a third person casts it again 1 second later. You can prevent all of those 5 infantry from launching any counter attack, and you can just destroy them right away. Now, if you look at this guy right here with his crazy 4th skill, he can do some disgusting stuff to enemies. Let us see. Skill number 4 for Mr. Vardoon. When casting Chaos Rune, the target Legion's infantry unit loses 40%. So you get 40% defense reduction on infantry. Man, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this thing would have been not so bad if it was being used by another troop type. Say, for example, archers. We don't have many archers on the field. So if they had an artifact with the stun effect, not many people play archers. But the problem is, majority of the fan base in the game is mages. And Vardoon is probably the best mage march in the game right now. And guess what? Their artifact is probably the best mage artifact in the game. On top of that, with the 1-second stun, oh boy, we are toast. All infantry mains are going to be feeling this effect. Now, another crazy artifact in the game is this one right here, the hammer. The hammer has like a 6-second stun. Yep, this hammer can stun people for 6 seconds, but people use it with cavalry most of the time. So yeah, now we have everybody with a hammer-like effect for the mage troop type. Man, this is going to be disgusting for open field. Pretty soon, the infantry troop type is going to be feeling the pain, and I don't know if there is getting out of this. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you're new, subscribe for more content. Until then, we shall meet again in the next video. Bye bye for now.